Hi, friends. Host Eric here, host of Talking with Famous People. So I just had this dumbass racist guy. When I'm working with my client and his mom into the autonomy room and say them by racial slurs and accuse me of ripping them off and stuff, and change rooms to the room I can lock, and then followed me there as well, trying to enter the room. Just generally interfere with my business, but it's kind of delightful in a way, in that there are people who hate me so much, and it's like they hate me because I'm right. I mean, there's no possible reason for them to hate me so much except for that. They just can't stand that I'm both right and claim I'm right and am right. It drives them insane. So they go into my work where I'm working with a 9th grade student and his mom on strategizing on how to approach this admissions video for a camp he wants to get into. And this fucker comes in and tries to fuck with it. It's like, talk about both an incredibly weak human being, because of course they do it anonymously, no name, no face, no voice. But what a spiteful and hateful little person they are. It's like, there are fair areas to attack me, and there are fair ways to attack me. And if you can't attack me fairly in the appropriate area, I won't allow you to attack me in the appropriate area at all, namely here. You can attack me here. That's fine. I'm live streaming. I'm making public videos. You can put comments. I rarely delete comments, even if they're nasty, Chatters at some point have to prove themselves non-spiteful. Even if they can be oppositional, but when they start being spiteful, then they got to go. Like, oh no, I got rid of Cloud. I had to say goodbye, Cloud, because he ceased to be simply oppositional or provocateur and grew increasingly spiteful. So I had to banish him. But the thing is, if anybody is always free and welcome to make legitimate critiques, and I never have any problem with that. And so that's why I find it almost delightful that this loathsome person would come in and do that, because it's like, to say that I'm ripping off the racial slurs is an odd combination of things. What, are you protecting them? It wasn't Cloud, I don't think. I don't know who it was. They came in with the letter G as their name, no face. But I was working with a client. I was working with my debate client, and we're talking about this camp he wanted to go into, Oh, he identifies as an INTJ now. Shocking. I thought he was an ENFP. I don't think it was Cloud. I've not encountered Cloud being racist before in the fashion that this person was. Oh, the other thing that they said was they came in with the name quote unquote, Eric rapes children. So this person is a complete scumbag. It's like they're slandering me in the worst possible ways directly to my clients. Okay. Including a 9th grade student of mine. Because they're wrong about something. I can tell. It's one of these people who's wrong and can't stand the fact that I'm both correct and win the arguments consistently, and yet I'm not prioritizing their TE bullshit or whatever. I mean, it's no big deal. Like, they didn't even comment on it. They didn't even comment on it at all. They didn't say anything. I didn't say anything about it either. I just got rid of the guy, got rid of him, No, I'd never crossed my mind that it was Cloud. Never crossed my mind. Yeah, he's 14, I think. Look, I'm not saying, oh, this is terrible because, my students' sensitive ears were befouled by adult language or something. I cuss around them all the time, I'm just pointing out that, you really have to have absolutely no respect, because regardless of what you think about me, my reputation and record as an educator is unblemished. I've never been suspected of any sort of wrongdoing. I am anything but somebody who rips people off. My clients would never even dream of thinking that I ripped them off. They think I'm quite the opposite of ripping them off. That I'm as easy squeezy as it gets when it comes to that kind of stuff, because they know I'm not. I make more money doing other stuff, and but I like them. I like those people. I like working with them. I feel like I'm doing God's work, because the kids in the ENTP, the mom's in ESTJ, and I'm trying to get some shit through to them. It's like this camp you wanted to get into. It's okay. Well, look, I think it's a good idea if you want to go to a camp that's going to teach you how to code and stuff. Great, but is that really what this camp's going to do? Look at what it says here. It may be prestigious, but I don't think this is what I don't think you're going to know what skill you want to get out of the thing. You think your husband is an INTJ? He's funny, sarcastic. Yeah, I mean, I'd like to think so, that I'm doing God's work there, because I'm trying to get the student and the parent to sort of reclaim ownership of that which is rightfully theirs. A student's education does not belong to the teachers. It belongs to the students and to a much lesser extent the parents. I don't know. He just started saying really just like, it went from, he's being provocative and just started being directly insulting, I guess. And it just got old, There's just too much dust up. I mean, look, it's inherently a situation that's not going to end well, because ESFPs and ENTPs trigger each other. The problem is, for him, this is an ENTP friendly environment, and I've got all the advantages in terms of controlling the stage and the pulpit and stuff. And at the end of the day, he thought he was engaging, but he never could figure out how to cross from one-step provocation to actual engagement. He didn't want to learn anything from anybody. He only wanted to teach. And you might very well accuse me of the same thing. It's true that we action types, especially extroverted intuitors, they want to put a lot of information. I want to put information. I want to be the one who's explaining how things are to everybody else who's listening and going, oh, really? That's so interesting, Eric. You're teaching us a lot, and I think probably most of your SE DOMs, your NE DOMs, they want to be in that position, and it's true of ESFPs as well. But of course, the problem for ESFPs is they just aren't conditioned to have good things to say in this kind of a context. They'd be great if this was a baseball team.
True.
I
just wanted to say goodnight because I didn't properly. Oh, they are the plumpest lips this side of the Mississippi.
Thanks. I plumped them with what's it called? Botox.
Oh, with Botox.
Every
You're
night.
So in.
Yeah, every night I plump my lips with Botox.
That's why they're so plush.
That's why they're so supple and pouty. Because when I want my lips, what I go for my own lips is pouty. I'm going for pouty.
But only for your own?
Well, yeah, I don't, I'm not worried about other people's lips. I'm worried about my lips looking pouty.
They definitely do.
And you can see how pouty they are, see?
Look how pouty.
I'm pouting right now.
Sometimes with the Botox, you can't tell the total emotion. but
I'm a sexy little pouty minx.
Yeah.
I'm a pouty little minx.
Ooh, pouty little minx.
I'm a coquettish and pouty little minx.
Ooh.
That's how you be coquettish and pouty at the same time. That's how you do it. You guys, a number of you were probably hoping I was going to give lessons. That's the lesson. The key to getting your dream man or woman, number 1, pout. Number 2, coquette.
Good night.
I don't always think I'm correct.
No, you admit when you're wrong.
Yeah. I operate under the assumption that my existing history of work has led to the most correct position that I can sustain on a given issue, provided I'm adequately informed about it. And that is, of course, subject to update if somebody comes up with a better argument, a better position, a better explanation. So I don't always think I'm correct. I do think that I am consistently using, where appropriate, the appropriate means of determining what's correct, and that's far more powerful than being correct ever will be. Being correct is always at best a temporary thing, or I guess you would say, a fact within a frame, whereas the process of knowing how to be correct is what allows you to not worry about being wrong. I don't worry about being wrong. Being wrong is great. Being wrong is a good opportunity to get that one of those few remaining wrongnesses out of the way and cleared off the table and replaced with the correctness, There are not a lot of remaining wrongnesses, and that's because I'm 49 years old. The ENTPs are very slow growing. But it is the case that I certainly don't hold any explicitly wrong positions that I'm aware are wrong or advocate them or affirm them. And it's also the case that I'm not attached in the way that most people are to given positions. I'm attached instead to the idea of determining correctness correctly rather than any specific status, except that one. So, it's not a burden. It's not a burden. I'm filled with doubt. My correctness is just as a lightening, for sure. Doubt is a burden, but knowledge is relief. It's release. It's understanding. Yeah, there's no point to claiming to be right all the time, because that just means you're saying you're not accounting for realities of frames, But I can also tell when somebody is genuinely angry because of my rightness versus for some other reason. There are people who get very infuriated by my correctness, um, because it's meticulous and it's carefully parsed. It's not sloppily done. There's not a lot of work you can do if you're trying to find some loose bolts of stuff to sabotage. And so that can be very frustrating. Is SE what gives someone pep in their steps? No, bubble puppy. That's amphetamines. Those are amphetamines. Give you pep in your step. You know, my mom's old hair cutter at the Santa Anita Mall at a hair cutting place called Hair and Things. His name was Pep. True story. True story. My mom had a hair cutter named Pep. Presumably, it was probably short for Pepe. I would guess. I could just never pay to have you type me because you were so scary with your tests and stuff. It's fine. I would say MBTI types are better suited to use certain debate strategy techniques. Yeah, I mean, I think that ENTPs and INTPs are the most natural debater types, but INTJs can easily be as good or, potentially even better. And the best coach I've ever met was an ESTJ. I mean, ENTPs and INTPs are naturally going to be the most inclined towards debate because it's about ideation and logical consistency. And those two things combined are the two dominant functions of the INTP and ENTP. But INTJ, I would not bet on Edmund versus Grace. Grace was my best INTJ debater I've ever had. Edmund is one of several really good NTP debaters I've had. And I would not put money against Grace. I'd probably put money on Grace over my NTP debaters. Certainly, I'd put money on Grace over Jeffrey right now, who's an ENTP, and they're debating the same event. Noam Chomsky is probably an NFP. I'm pretty sure he's an ENFP. Not a good thinker. Doesn't seem to get that if you're going to establish some sort of link, there's got to be a mechanism. I saw this movie one time he was talking about how advertising was influencing media too much. And all he did was juxtapose next to each other a bunch of realities, like these people are advertising in this newspaper. These people are also advertising in this newspaper. And both these newspapers are running similar stories. Okay, but what's the mechanism by which the control is exercised? You're talking about all kinds of different agents dealing with all kinds of different agents. And you're coming up with some examples where two newspapers run similar interpretations of a story, and also have ads from the same company that is impacted by that story. But there are plenty of examples of news organizations that either have advertising by that same company and don't run that version of the story, or simply don't have advertising by that company and run other versions of the story. So it's kind of irrelevant since there's not really a monopoly anyway on the narrative. But Noam Chomsky is not a good thinker. That's what I mean by not a good thinker, You can't just put a bunch of things next to each other and say, see? It's not good thinking. There's no other way to put it. Thanks, Jeff Shaw. I thought that was a good video too. Because, I agree with, he's not without some good ideas. His very initial work, his very first work was interesting, okay? And clever, intuitively had some pop. But note that it's a meaning dissolving technique, right? It's a logic dissolving technique or frame. What's the most famous thing that he said? Isn't it? Wasn't it him who said this? The medium is the message. Oh, that was Marshall McLuhan. Never mind. Never mind. I'm confusing him with Marshall McLuhan. Never mind. Never mind. The Chomsky movie I'm talking about, though, was definitely Chomsky. But I'm confusing Marshall McLuhan's early work with Chomsky's early work. I'm not that familiar with Chomsky's early work, so I can't really comment on it. My bad. I stand corrected. I agree NT types are best suited to be philosophers. I mean, INFJs maybe as well to a certain extent, but they tend to be too metaphorical, you know? It's like you want the intuition, because the reason why INTPs or ENTPs are best equipped to be philosophers is because they have intuition, including introverted intuition that's active, even though it's backslop, but they mainly determine the truth of things with their TI. If you determine the truth of things with NI first, then you're dealing with non-reducible truths, and therefore you're not going to end up with very, robust abstract models. TI any deliberation ahead of concretization stereotype. I'm not quite sure what you mean there. I get the first part, ahead of, but I'm not sure what concretization stereotype is. Who's being stereotyped as being too concretizing? Will you stop concretizing everything? God. It's like there are other media besides concrete. Hilarious jokes flying left and right, every direction you look. Do you see what I see? A bowl, an almost brand new bowl, because I broke my last bowl, but I had one extra on standby. Wasn't that smart of me? Yes, it was. Very smart of me to order a bunch of those from Amazon. They're so much cheaper than buying them at the store. Indeed, indeed. Indeed, indeed, indeed. Must be why Plato proclaimed, I'm trying to think, don't confuse me with facts. What must be? Why? Yeah, it must be why Plato proclaimed. I'm trying to think, don't confuse me with facts. Is it because of the NI? Is that what you're saying? Or something else? Facts don't run afoul of thinking. Problem is, a lot of people who fixate on the word facts mean empirical data, which is not the same thing as a fact, right? I mean, it's a fact that TINE is a meth, NETI is punchable. Love you, NTPs. Love you too. Cha. I like your name. Ha cha 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 cha. Brian's was very inoffensive. Well, INFPs, they're good executors of FI. You can probably see how I was on my best behavior the whole time, I was like trying to be all like both likable and professional. Always a bit of a challenging wigwam to inhabit. So I can't believe this fucker. Can you believe this guy? Coming into my autonomy room while I'm working with my client and saying racist shit to them because they're Chinese. I mean, I guess they are. I don't know if they are, really. I've not officially asked them their race. But, Thanks, Oliver Langton. Yeah, I was on my best behavior. I could just tell right away he was an INFP. I could just feel him supervising me. I felt like, okay, showtime. We got an INFP here. Like, the funny thing is, when an INFP says something like at the end of their video, well, I want this to be published because I think it'd be helpful for people because I really don't think there's a lot of INFP videos out there or good information about them, blah, 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 blah. He actually means that. It's not just bullshit he says because he wants his video published, right? He means that. That's what's scary about INFPs. Wait, so all this earnestness, it's real, huh? You mean you're not faking that shit? I'm pretty sure this shit can only be faked, right? Nobody does that for real, do they? Anybody? Oh, everybody but me? Oh, okay, my bad. Yeah, Brian's was very inoffensive. I mean, it was a very cordial engagement. It made me feel like a Christmas cordial. Well, it's about it's like, okay, SI provides you. Well, look, let me give you an example. So somebody give me a word, a noun or something, any specific word, and I'll show how any links to SE and to SI and to NI. Oh, give me a word of good cheer, a word like fine and dandy. Any word, butter. Okay, butter. So for me, butter, the first thing that comes to my mind when I try to link to it is childhood for me, actually, and eating my mom's pancakes, where I always ate them with just butter, okay, and not any syrup because I didn't like syrup. I liked a lot of butter on my pancakes. Otherwise, it's too dry, So now let's say what I've done here, they're taking an SE thing, namely the word butter that's put out there on the extroverted metaphysical plane, really an NI object, butter, and I've made it into an SI object. That is to say, I've linked it to a specific memory of my own. Now let's say I were called upon to improvise something on the fly, like a story. I would start with that associated memory and go, once upon a time, there was a boy who loved pancakes, but unlike the other boys in the neighborhood, he didn't enjoy his pancakes with syrup, but rather he just lathered them with butter. So much butter, in fact, that his mother became worried. Buttery Joe, and she said to her son, for that was his name, as he had become known around the town because of his fixation on butter. Buttery Joe, I'm worried that all that butter will turn you into a milkmaid. And Buttery Joe said, oh, mother, boys can't become milkmaids just by eating lots of butter. If anything, I'll become a professional churner. And his mother said, no, Buttery Joe. You have to make a lot of butter to become a professional churner, not eat a lot of butter. And Buttery Joe said, oh, you're right. And they laughed and laughed and laughed. And that's how SI links to NE. Why is butter NI? It's an identity. So, this is my knife. I know my knife. It's also a knife. A knife is NI. My knife is SI. So when I go like, where's my knife? I'm referring to my knife, this knife here. When I say, where's the knife? I'm referring to anything that'll cut. So when you give me the word butter, if I ask somebody who's SI polar to do word associations, like, what do you associate with butter? They'll say churning. What do you associate with pancakes? Syrup. What do you associate with mint? And if they're SI on the back stack, unless prompted to or given some cue to, or unless they know about this already, then they probably won't ever get around to linking to some personal experience of theirs. Well, cereal? Oh, that reminds me of breakfast when I had a bowl of cereal. That won't come out of their mouth for some reason. It doesn't cross their minds, you know? So that's the difference between SI and NI. Who was this dumb racist that tried sabotaging my job in context? Well, I was working with my client, my 9th grade student, and his mom. We were talking about the approach that he should take towards this admissions video he wanted to make for this camp. And, you know, I like to believe I gave him very good, strong advice about it. And somebody with the letter G as their icon and name came in and said, Eric likes to rip off, and then insert racial slur for Chinese people. And Eric rapes children, things like that, you know. And so we switched to the room that I could lock, but then they still tried to come in, and it says, meow, meow, meow wants to come in, and they'd make their name like Eric rapes children. You know. Sure, that's going to get this one demonetized or something, but where did it come from? I mean, I've had haters for a long time about L'Oreal Wood. There's some people who are seriously spiteful towards me. They very, very strongly dislike me. And it's usually because they feel, I think, threatened in some regard by me. They don't like my confidence that I'm correct about things. They don't like the willingness to maintain fairly large claims about the significance of the understanding or the primacy of it over all others. For example, that really rubs people the wrong way on an FE ground. You know, it's like, it's understandably a difficult claim to substantiate and sustain because, of course, you're saying I'm smarter than all these other people. Except that's the thing. I'm not really saying that. I'm saying instead that right place, right time, right set of skills. You know, I'm a debate coach who came on cognitive functions just as socionics was taking the lead and doing it wrong. And I had a chance to add enough time and an opportunity to clean it up. You know, it took me several attempts. What type gets on my nerves most? ESFPs, I'd say for sure. But ENFPs can too. I mean, I'm pretty sure the guy who emailed me earlier with his completely nonsense critique is ENFP. You know, he emailed me again. Emailed me back again. He said, some stupid shit. When are you going to come chat in the Discord server? I find myself, I find chatting in the Discord server not a good use of time unless I'm also live streaming. Then in case, I mean, I wouldn't mind chatting with people enough. People want to chat specifically. But FOMO Hot says, I just joined, can relate to the topic, have multitude of experiences with such concluded the universe is guiding me away from these jobs. I finally found my dream job. I mean, my job is my job. I've been a debate coach for a long time. This is just YouTube bleeding into my. See, all parts of my life all bleed together. I'm an extremely transparent person. Everybody knows everything that's going on around me. So, it's, I guess, to be expected, you know. I am just being me, and some people hate that, and this has always been the case for me. I've noticed since I was a kid, there were some people in the world who just immediately and abundantly hated me, and I didn't really understand why at all when I was younger. I understand a lot better now why. Some of those behaviors I'd like to change, and some of them I just have to just be like, well, you know, I am how I am. It's going to be off-putting to some people on some areas, and in other areas, I need to be a lot more cognizant of FE considerations. Nobody likes to be browbeaten, and nobody likes to be have scorn heaped upon them for their wrongness. Diamond says, Eric, imagine not having enemies. Life would be anime then. All we are missing is anime eyes and hair. Well, I will say that getting that douchebaggy email sort of pepped up my spirit today. I felt, but you know, as usual, I think most of my problems with my moods and spirit and stuff link to food and water consumption. I need a beverage right now. I'll be right back. I'm gonna go get a beverage. I don't know where my beverages keep going. Yeah, I gotta say, considering that these things have no alcohol in them, I'd really expect them to be more thirst quenching than they are. You know? Well, it's not just for practical reasons of being more successful or whatever. I don't doubt that being more attentive to FE stuff, talking to people in ways that are designed to make them feel heard and respected rather than corrected would be effective. But more than effective, I want to be I don't want to be a douchebag, you know? That's what it boils down to. It's not like I want to be effective. I don't like when I see other people wearing me, I don't like those people at all. You know? I strongly dislike them. I don't want to be somebody that I don't like. Not saying that I don't like myself. I don't have like low self-worth or something like that. It's just I strongly dislike the idea of being like people that I don't like. Which means I don't want to be a pedantic, douchey NTP, you know? I want to deal with people as people before, ideally first in line before I deal with their ideas as ideas. It doesn't mean conflating people and ideas. I don't want to make that mistake that a lot of people make, but I do want to remember to deal with them first as people. I mean, Winston Churchill, I feel you, dog. Look, I believe Winston Churchill to have been an ENTP, and I feel like I kind of identify with him in a lot of ways. But during the whole big run up to World War II, the bulk of the British politicians were strongly pacifist and strongly downplaying the seriousness of the threat. And Churchill was saying, "You people are fucking crazy. We need to do some shit right now. We need to do this shit hard. And you don't understand what we're up against here." He saw clearly what was going on. I think he's ENTP. He wrote too much to be ESTP, in my opinion. But I could be wrong. He could be ESTP. The one thing he definitely is FI polar. He was known for walking around crying all the time. He was just big. Here come the tears. Next second, cutting wit that makes somebody else burst into tears. Robin Williams is ENFP. Was ENFP. Now he is deceased. May he rest in peace. I mean, the comeback, right? His famous comeback, his most famous line. The lady says to him, "Churchill, if you were my husband, I'd put poison in your drink. Madam, if you were my wife, I'd drink it." Yeah, that's a snappy retort, right? That's pretty snappy, on the fly retort. What type make the most popular comedians? Probably INFJs are gonna have a good chance at that, or ENTPs, depending. George Carlin, I think, was an ENTP. And the reason I'm quite convinced he was an ENTP is because of his theory on dealing with fans, where he said, anytime, doesn't matter what I'm doing, if I'm busy or whatever, if some fan wants to come up and shake my hand, get me to sign something, take a picture or whatever, I'm always like, sure, of course, be happy to. Because I know that those 3 minutes, 5 minutes I spend, it's just 5 minutes out of my day. But it's got me a lifelong fan who's going to always think positively and speak positively of me from that point forward. I'm never going to see the guy again. That's an ENTP. He doesn't care about his own time, what he's doing in that 5 minutes or whatever. He's thinking about the long-term FE benefits. That's an ENTP. That'd be my thinking about it exactly, too. What, are you kidding me? Of course I'm going to be nice to these people. I want them to like me, don't I? If somebody would come up to me and be like, out of the blue and be like, hey, are you host Eric from YouTube? I'll be like, oh my God, somebody recognize me. Sweet merciful heavens, thank you. It'd be really exciting for me. But, I'm probably a long ways away from that happening. I wonder if Frank James gets recognized in the world. He's got like 100,000 subs. Probably not still. Yeah. I guess it depends, because the thing about YouTube is it's such a diverse community. It happens all over the world, so even if you have 100,000 subs, and you got to figure for 100,000 subs, it means there's a million people probably who've watched one or two of your videos, right? Because most people watch one or two of your videos. Enough to recognize you, still won't be a sub. Like, there's lots of people that I've watched multiple videos of, but I'm not subscribed to them. I rarely subscribe to people. No, nobody's recognized me out in the world. No random person. I've met people that I've met up with people in the world that I met here first, but yeah. I wear my live streaming at night so I can watch you. So I think this is the answer to Evelyn's question. I should make a separate video about this, but Evelyn asked a good question. She asked basically, Eric, why don't you give? Nobody's ever recognized me, Valerie. If somebody were to recognize me, I would not be a snob at all. No, I'd be ecstatic. I'd be like, oh my God, you recognize me from YouTube? Am I like actually famous enough to be recognized by people? That is so exciting. I would be incredibly friendly. I'd be like, they'd be like, okay, go away now, Eric. It would be so exciting. I don't think I'd ever get tired of it either. Nobody's ever asked me for an autograph. I want to have 500,000 subscribers. It'd be fun. I would make a lot of money if you got 500,000 subscribers, I bet. That'd be cool. Be like, cha-ching. You think it sounds like a nightmare? It doesn't sound like a nightmare to me. It sounds awesome. I'd just be doing the same thing all the time, just like I am now, 500,000, 6,000, doesn't matter to me. I'm not going to change how I am, Yeah, well, that's different. That's a separate project, okay? Dave Sanderson, let's compartmentalize our projects here. Why would you think it'll be stressful? Eric, I think once you be wary of the people who mask their dislike for you and pretend they like you, they're not easy to deal with. It's not really a concern for me because I don't judge people's whatever on whether they like me or not. I mean, I do have to make a distinction when people have moved into purely spiteful behavior from legitimately provocative, but by and large, I don't really care whether. I don't think it's relevant. I guess I should say. Not that I don't care. It's that I don't think it's relevant whether they like me or not and how I respond to them. You think I appeal to INFPs? That would be kind of surprising to me if I did, because yeah, I know what I gotta do. I gotta once you bank $5,000, then you gotta report it to the Federal Elections Commission, and there's a variety of other things I'm gonna have to attend to as well. I know the gist. I looked into it already, but I don't remember all the specifics of it. But the bulk of it is that you get $5,000 in donations, political donations, and an account dedicated to that, and then I wouldn't behave any differently. Acha acha. I mean, everybody watch my every move is not any different than I want it to be. I've always said I don't need or want privacy particularly. I mean, some things obviously I don't want people watching me go to the bathroom, and not that I really care, but nobody wants to anyway. But there's no reason to. There's no reason to deprivatize things that are just sort of naturally private things like that. But what I'm saying is, my whole point is I don't have any secrets. I'm not trying to pretend to be anything or anyone that I'm not. So, and I believe myself to be a thoroughly good person in the sense that I'm not advocating anything wrong or bad. And I'm not worried about saying something that reveals like, oops, this is what I really think and it's bad, because that's just not how I roll, I'm hyper aware of how any piece of language can be used as an argument against me. So it's very rare for me to it's very rare for me to say something I regret. Well, what about doxers, harassers, people with an agenda? Well, I mean, like I've had Becky email my dad and threaten to sue him while defaming me to my father. Does that count? I mean, I'm not worried about it. I don't know. Maybe everybody seems to think I should be. I'm not worried about it. I'm not worried about it. I want everybody's bullshit to be publicized, It's like, just like I did when Becky emailed my dad defaming things about me, threatening to sue my father because I talked about her in a video on YouTube. What did I do? I read her emails out loud on the internet because that's how I roll. I don't give a fuck. I got nothing to hide. Your shit's either lies or stuff. The only reason you know is I've told everybody. So I'm immune. My father had absolutely nothing to do with it. He had absolutely nothing to do with it. She just wanted to email him because she knew it wasn't going to do any good to email me. And he's an 80-some-odd-year-old man, and she probably thought that she could scare him into And she just wanted to hurt me. So she wanted to say a bunch of shitty things about me to him, like tell on me to him. Like tell him a bunch of things that are bad about me that hopefully he doesn't know, right? So that I can, I guess, get in trouble. Hello? Hello?
Please leave your message for...
Okay, well, it's not working. So, can you do an ISFP, INFP difference? I can tell the difference pretty straight ahead. It's like ISFPs speak very differently and think very differently than INFPs do. INFPs share a commonality with ENTPs with their sort of intuition. Hello? 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 Hello?
Hi, Mr. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, okay, now there we go. So, can we quickly go to Whereby for a sec? I have a question.
Yeah, okay.
Next, sorry.
So yeah, it's not.
Oh, sorry, I'm back again. So I have a quick question. Can I quickly try explaining this to you? I have exactly 1 minute to do the video. So not sure how I can explain. I'll try.
Okay.
Alright, I'm sorry now. Hello, my name is Jeffrey Liu, and I'm a ninth grader from Los Angeles, California. And there are three things I'm highly interested in, which are engineering, entrepreneurship, and debate. Now, these things all come together. First, from debate, I'd like to start with the fact I've been doing debate for about 5 years now. And I won first place at the SPFL Fall Classic in 2019. And I have an idea which I believe could be revolutionary to flow debate. And this idea is called Milk Lab, and this idea would be a public database in which people can search for card-specific pieces or specific pieces of evidence with certain criteria. And these pieces of evidence can be organized on the site itself and tested as a case against a online or AI opponent. And such software would also allow for the buying and selling of different pieces of evidence. And overall, I'm wondering if this camp, or I believe this camp would be able to help me achieve such a goal. And thank you. Wait, I thought I said not asking. I thought I said asking.
Look, Jeffrey, the thing is, you need to say in there specifically, start with, I've only got a minute and I've got a lot to cover. So let me just say this what I'm presenting here is where my competition debate experience segues with my interest and passion for tech stuff. And here's the concept. Debate currently is a speech-based activity, but it uses cards that are pieces of evidence that contain certain qualities or attributes to them. What I have in mind is a way of turning the real-time experience of spoken debate into a strategy card game that utilizes different argumentation vectors, essentially thereby mechanizing the process of debate into a somewhat simplified but ultimately comprehensive I guess you'd say modeling of argumentation. Okay, so you need to say that stuff.
I see.
Okay, just like what I just said. So just record what I'm just saying right now, and I'll say it again for you. Okay.
You record. Oh yeah, I got that right. Sure.
You got that? Okay, so yeah, just make sure you say that stuff.
And should I bring up any of my other experience or anything?
No. So look, I've only got a minute, so and this is kind of complicated what I need to explain. But I'm a competition flow debater. I'm a competition flow debater, and I'm also into tech coding kind of stuff. And I've got an idea for a system I want to code. And specifically what it is debate uses these cards. But in a normal flow debate, where it's a speech event, so you're reading the cards, you're making arguments in between, and so forth. And it's based on a succession of speeches and question and answering periods. I'd like to turn that into a strategy card game, and I have this system fairly well laid out. And then show them the documents in the video. Like don't go through them, but just show them the documents. So they say, as you see here, I've got it structured to how it might look with SQL tables. But I'm trying to build like a parametric search database kind of thing. And I'm hopeful this camp might be helpful in this. I'm not sure if it will be. If it is, I would love to join your camp. If not, I wonder if maybe you could refer to me to a camp that would be effective for this specific problem. Boom, like that. Just bam. Everything I just said. And nothing I didn't say.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
All right, late.
Thanks.
Well, it's been sleepy week, and it's not sleepy today. It's non-sleepy day today, but it's been a bit of a fussy day, and it took me a while for me to go from fussy to fun, from fussy to fun. Thanks, FOMO Hot. I really appreciate that. Well, that's the thing that racist guy was coming in and disrupting. We were trying to have this conversation about how we should approach this thing, and wow. I straight up hit that guy. I didn't even time him out. No, I googled it. It's a weird channel. It has 666 subscribers. So it says. I don't think it actually has that many subscribers. I think it doesn't show its subscribers and it put that as its thing, you know. Oh, what happened? What happened was somebody came into my work when I was. You ever see? He doesn't really look. That's not where. Is that where it is normally on the channel? That where it shows? No, that's not where it shows. So it doesn't really have 666 subscribers. Fussy Eric. So yeah, well, anyway, so somebody came in and started making, you know, basically attacking me and saying I like Eric rips off and then insert racial slur for Chinese people and other horrible things about me. Yeah. It's part of his picture of his background thing. It's pretty tricky, but there's not really, he doesn't really have that many subscribers. So, yeah, well, I was in the autonomy room, you know, I'm working with my client and his mom, and then this person came in and tried to, you know, be spiteful. I thought, wow. Like, what inspires someone to do that? I guess could be very young, um, and bipolar, maybe, if possible, or very damaged in some way, like just shits on random shit. But most likely it's because they absolutely despise me. The channel's a real channel. Are you focusing on why it occurred? Well, my position is it occurred because you know it's one of is one of the people who, as I explained earlier, I've always been this case that even when I was fairly young, um, that there's some people who just seem to hate me, and they just want more than anything else to quote unquote take me down a notch. I never felt like I was. I've never really felt actually full of myself, but I can see how I behave like that, and I can see certainly how, especially how I used to behave a lot more like that, or like that more consistently, I guess. I'm a lot more aware of it now than I used to be. No, it wasn't gangster rap. It's important to eat. Projection. They find you and immediately project some archetype onto you, as Socrates, perhaps. The only way they find that you are a human person. I mean, they might later find that to be the case. I've not found those who are particularly spiteful towards me to be prone towards changing their perspective. Your sister had a teacher that asked what color the students felt like. Is appalled a color? How about demoralized? Probably a hack. What do you mean a hack? They didn't really say anything about it at all. Hi, Sean. We didn't talk about it. I didn't let myself get off topic for very long. You know, I was in the middle of saying something. Oh, no, I just kicked him out. There. It's been sleepy week. One bottle lasts about 2 weeks. And I had a real sleepy week. Like, I crashed hard for 3 or 4 days there. And today I thought, I'm rested. It's not for me. Well, I mean, I really, I'm losing my edge. I'm losing my enthusiasm for Adderall. Like, I took some today, but yeah, it's necessary for me, for my brain to reset. You got to build up the dopamine in your brain for it to reuptake inhibit. If you don't have any dopamine to reuptake inhibit, then you're angry lust. It doesn't seem like a very good kind of lust. Red is also considered the color of Santa Claus. Sleigh bells ring. Are you listening? Because in this lane, snow be glistening, y'all. You know what my favorite play is? It's The Wiz. Ease on down the road. It's an ethnically inspired version of The Wizard of Oz. Carol of the Bells. Does that one go? Bang 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 bang. Bang 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 bang. Abraham has some good news to share. Share your good news. Is your good news that Christ is risen? Have you heard the good news? Our Lord Christ is risen. Have you heard the good news? I have heard that good news before, but I want to just tell you, I really appreciate your use of the present passive voice, which is so rarely used, Like, the pizza is eaten. Nobody really says that, right? But Christ is risen. People say that. The other thing is, it makes clear that a rising occurred. Okay. He was not raised from the dead. He rose from the dead, which is to say, he was rising from the dead before completing the rising, at which point he became risen. Oh, yeah. I saw those too. I got some pictures. I like it. You got approved as the first step for getting your certification to help you double your monies. Fantastic. You mean all licenses all the time is going to issue you a license to be a licensed laborer? That's good news indeed. I know they've got strict protocols. Fiery, passionate. I'm fiery. I'm passionate. I'm fierce. L'Oreal. A piece of food in my mouth. A wee piece of food. Oh, just a wee piece of food. Aye, arr, ye food be wee. Yes, that was a L'Oreal commercial. Sexy, sultry, sassy, L'Oreal. Studio by L'Oreal. You see what I have in my hair? I've got two things in my hair that say L'Oreal. I've got body and I've got sheen. If you've got both body and sheen, you know you're working Studio by L'Oreal. Yeah. I use also oil of Olay's rejuvenating serum. That's why I don't have any lines right here. You notice how I don't have any lines right here? That's because I use oil of Olay's rejuvenating serum. Hence the total absence of lines. Your sheen is through the roof. You know, they rank sheen on a scale of dark to blinding. You know, you want your sheen as close to blinding as possible. I'm a Capricorn rising. Winston's mom is a Libra rising. Anyone else know their rising signs? Why punctuation is important, Oliver Linehan. That's why that's the heading of that sentence there. I'm a cancer-eating Taurus. I'm a cancer-eating Taurus slewing, Leo spewing, Sagittarius fuck. Life ain't nothing but yards and squares inside of my birth chart. I was born beneath conjunction of the worst two stars in the sky. That's my country astrology song. Yard to the left of me, square above. Yard to the right of me, square below. Heartache and conflicts wherever I go. My life ain't nothing but yards and squares. Square all your yards, then take the square root of all the squared yards, and you'll be back with your original set of yards. Just in case you were curious about that. If you want to know the circumference of a yard, pi r squared. Reliable. If it's a circular yard. If it's a square yard, no, that's not going to give you the circumference. There's no radius to a square. You're talking crazy talk now. You got to just go, how many units of meow across one edge and just multiply it by 4. That's your circumference. It's not even a circumference. It's just like a total amount of perimeter numbers. I got a riddle for you. What kind of pie stank up the garage last night? Your mom's vagina. Damn, I'm really glad to hear you say that. Somebody here is missing Rachel's coughing. I appreciate that. I miss it too. It feels like it's not a party without Rachel coughing in the background. Now you want pie. I'll tell you what, I'm going to pull a bong rip, and it might make me cough. I got Leo rising up to eat my Taurus pup, who's rising in his Capricorn's Cancer-filled cup. I got yards inside my squares. I got squares inside my yards. My conjunction of two planets is catastrophe of stars. Yeah, I've got nothing good astrology, nothing good above for me. Just yards and squares everywhere I look. Oh, I might not cough. I'm not that big of a cougher. I do cough sometimes. I'm almost out of weed. CJ O'Connell, were you coming over here and smoking my weed when I wasn't looking? I knew it was CJ O'Connell. He's a sneaky one. He acts like a nice INFP, but really, he's an undercover ESFP weed stealer. Oh, Rachel. I don't think Rachel's presence or absence has generally a particularly large impact on my approach. If I'm in a certain mood, then I'll be in that mood. Might express like meow with Rachel or like meow by myself, but it still expresses that mood. But if I'm not in that mood and I'm in a different mood, then I'll behave differently under both circumstances. I think you see what I'm saying. True, I might be INFP, but my NE is on point, dog. It's off the chain. Would you say your NE is off the chain or is it off the hook? Or off the rails? Or is it off to the side? I'm just trying to be the most woke ENFP possible in life. I'm just trying to be woke ENFP. You're a woke ENFP. Are there any non-woke ENFPs in the world? I don't think so. I think wokeness goes hand in hand with the ENFP hood. I'm extraordinarily woke, but sometimes people mistake me for just sort of woke. I once was asleep and then I woke up. I was like, wow, this is a big difference. I can like think clearly, make decisions. I am not dissatisfied by my need to go pee and my just not wanting to get out of bed. That's one of the most common experiences I've known is in life is I have to pee, but I don't want to get out of bed. This horrible reality again happens to me every day. Gosh, I don't like this reality. It's a pretty silly word, woke. You know, I learned a new word today that tent pole. Now, if you'd asked me what a tent pole was, I would have said that it refers to a male having an erection in public. But in fact, no, it does not. It refers to a big budget blockbuster movie that a studio puts out, assuming that it will make up any losses that the more dark horse offerings might incur. I go around and triggering the woke folk. My name is Sean Ryan the J. I go around and trigger all the woke folk. My name is Sean Ryan out of jail. They say they're woke. I give them a poke. Then they have strokes. Ha 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 ha. That's my song. That's my beer bottle song that I just made. Well, I think I'm pretty woke, to be perfectly honest. If the term wasn't ridiculous and didn't deserve nothing but scorn and ridicule, and you were to take the sort of purest core of the notion and turn it into the actual good thing that the truest core of it is, then I would consider myself fully woke. But of course, people wouldn't agree with my definition of it, probably. My definition of woke is nonstop hatred against Vikings. That's why I started my organization, Racist Against Vikings E, or RAVE. The E doesn't stand for anything. I just thought it sounded better than RAV. Who would like to join? Would anybody like to join my organization, Racist Against Vikings E? Hey, CJ O'Connell, you know what those people do, right? They pillage. Do you want to get pillaged? You ever been pillaged? It sounds like we got a pillage lover here. Pillage lover, a pillage lover, a pillager lover, a pillage loving lover, a lover of loving pillages. I'm triggered. I'm triggered every time anybody says the word Viking, or vit, or because why? Because I remember how my ancestors suffered at the hands of pillaging Vikings, who, by the way, were uniformly heterosexually white males. Just saying. I'm not saying anything, I'm just saying, right? Talk about your imperialists. Talk about your proto-imperialists. Talk about your colonialists, you know. Talk about your, you know what I'm saying? It's like dag and you know what I mean, right? Oh, my penis is not named Viking. It merely behaves like one. Rolls off the longboat to go pillaging. That's the best way to describe my penis's action. Is to say it rolls off the longboat to go a pillaging. It's good. I like how you're reclaiming the words that don't belong to you, right? I'm just reclaiming the language. Hey, you can't use that word. I'm reclaiming it. I'm reclaiming it, okay? You know, a lot of people say we should call us Native Americans, but I prefer Indian. And I prefer that you call me Indian Feather Not Dot. That's my preference as a Native American. Sometimes I want you to call me by my Indian name, which is Lionel Sprinting Wolf Kazaquo, and sometimes by my regular name, Eric. You know, you just have to ask me ahead of time. It depends what race I am at the moment. Okay. When I'm Dr. Lionel Sprinting Wolf Kazaquo, I'm Native American. I have all the powers of the Native American. What do those entail? I can put my ear to the ground and tell how many horses are coming towards us. Okay. And what else can I do as an American? I never get lost. I can read any smoke, even if it's not actually a smoke signal. So I can read a forest fire. They read like novels, like sort of cheaply written novels. Not very good character development. What else can I do? I can see buffalo that are up to 300 miles away. I can carry up to 6 papooses in each arm simultaneously. I can build a teepee out of 2 shirts and a clothes hanger. I can trap beavers, and I mean literally trap beavers. I don't mean some sort of euphemism for a sexual conquest. I mean beavers that build dams. I can trap them with my beaver traps. I'm much better at that actually when I'm French Canadian than when I'm Native American. But you know, like I said, I prefer you white people call me Native American, but for the rest of people, please refer to me as Indian Feather Not Dot. The beaver trappers. What do you do for a living, Brody? I trap beaver. You're not French Canadian. Or is that anything about Canada? Isn't that where the beavers live? Beavers are wherever you look, bro. Wherever you go. You know what I'm saying. I trapped your mom's beaver last night. Made it into a hat. That's what I'm wearing right now. It's this thing on my head here. No, not mom's beaver. Yeah. I was surprised as well to learn that she had a pet beaver. I just thought this whole waterworks thing here in the backyard was just you guys fucking around. I don't know. Beaver. It's so unsexy. It is so unsexy, right? Leave it to Beaver. Oh, leave it to Beaver. Beaver, what have you been up to? Have you been getting into your youthful shenanigans again? Oh, you haven't been hanging out with that Eddie guy. He's a fake schmoozy schmoozertons. You ever heard of Paycheck? What's his name? Paycheck what? This guy Paycheck something? Johnny Paycheck. Johnny Paycheck's got some great songs. If you look him up on YouTube, he's this country guy, And sing songs such as Can't Quit Drinking, 15 Beers, Pardon Me, I've Got to Kill Someone. But he's like a legit country guy, you know? It's not a modern fake of it or something. It's just from like 1981 or something. He also wrote Take This Job and Shove It, which was his most famous one. Colorado Kool-Aid is an amazing track. I just found this guy today for the first time. But Drinking and Driving, Can't Quit Drinking, and 15 Beers are all good songs. So is Colorado Kool-Aid, which is about drinking Coors. Yeah, he was a bit of a. He had a bit of a drug and alcohol problem. It's true. He did. Well, let's see here. Nicholas Watson says Eric is annoying AF. Well, gosh, Nicholas, I'm sorry. I hope you mean, as annoying as fundamentally unannoying things. Eric, what is the problem with the lack thereof your channel's success? What do you mean by what is the problem with the lack of my success, the lack of success of my channel? Yeah, what do you mean by what is the problem? You mean what is the cause? Like, what fundamentally prevents me from being more successful? I guess it's doing this. I guess it's doing what I do, you know? It's a preference for, well, I mean, I think it's as simple as this. I think that there's a relatively small audience of people who find me engaging and want to watch me naturally without me making a whole lot of effort. This kind of engagement is the kind of engagement I enjoy. What CJ says is too authentic for the mainstream. That's why it is very authentic. I would sort of hope that kind of engagement would have its own kind of popularity, its own appeal. That I don't feel like I'm limited to talking about this or that or the other thing, but I'm not sure how much of a large community there is that wants to engage honestly about stuff in the way that I'm engaging honestly. We'll see, David Anderson. This is the thing. What you call the necessary work to being successful here is what I'm saying. It's it's not a lack of work. Okay, so keep that in mind. It's not an inadequate amount of work that is at all the problem. You say putting in the necessary work to be successful. So in other words, you can still be authentic while doing while prioritizing that which would make you more successful. Well, For one thing, I would say this, that I've not completely given up on the notion that this format that I'm prioritizing, by and large, well enough, maybe not always to the best of my ability, but that this thing that I've been continuously doing, continuously putting effort into, not strength or intelligence, it's the key to unlocking our potential. I've been putting a lot of continuous effort into well, Torvis, it says it's the key to unlocking our potential, not the key to anything else, just unlocking our potential. The thing is, I do think that persistence and consistency is important, but I'm not inconsistent or not persistent. I persistently, consistently do this, have these conversations with David Standerson and other people, I mean, I still don't agree with it either, Torvish Shepard. Continuous effort is not the key necessarily to unlocking your potential. Often it's intelligence. I have plenty of examples of, it's a very brute force approach to understanding things. It's like an ENTP giving up on NI entirely. I mean, it's hard for me to tell. It seems like gradually it's growing a bit, the stream. It's hard for me to understand what comprises good results exactly. So, I originally used to watch the Adult Swim live stream before it got shut down because of AT&T's problems. AT&T had a lot of problems, but she used to watch that. That had like millions of subs, and they'd only have at any given stream maybe 100 people in the stream. I've got 20 people here almost right now, and it's 10 p.m. on a Monday night, so it's like 1 a.m. on the East Coast. Now I have way fewer than 5 times as many subscribers as they do, but way more than, like I'm doing much better in terms of actual participants to subscribers than they are, if that matters. I don't know if that matters, What does it matter? How do you know what matters? Well, I guess, would you still make major changes if it had benefits that were worth the effort from an activity standpoint? It depends what you mean by major changes. The tricky thing, David Sanderson, is that it's easy to get me to agree that something's a good idea, but most of the good ideas require application of an approach across time consistently. And what I've noticed is that I tend to be rather haphazard in what I'm doing. I do what I want to do, and I upload what I want to upload, and I try to have better editorial discretion than I used to. So I'd like to think that the bad things that I upload are less bad than they used to be, and maybe the good things that I upload are better than they used to be. I don't know. That one's a harder one to answer, because when you hit something and it works and it's a good video, then it's a good video, and it doesn't matter what the time frame, doesn't really make any difference, But I do believe that my lows have gotten less low. I'm a better media maker than I used to be. So even when I'm not super engaging, I'm less awful than I used to be. Comparison is the thief of joy. Well, I like to compare myself against myself. And when you have a huge body of work like I do, it's pretty easy to do that. So it's easy enough for me to compare this live stream against earlier live streams maybe during Sleepy Week or when I was fussy earlier or something. This one's clearly a lot better. It's more entertaining for me. I feel like I've got stuff to say. I feel like I'm engaging with people about actual topics that are kind of interesting to talk about. I'm not battling against somebody who's just here to make the same stupid ass arguments I hear a million times. Like, how many times do I need to hear this argument about the big five being more empirically validated than cognitive functions? It's like, why am I the one who's responsible to do all the work intellectually? Like, they don't have to. They want to come in here and say this shit to me without looking into at all whether or not I actually have already addressed any of these things, you know? Would you go back to experimenting or learning by trial or error like you used to? Well, I mean, this is the thing. Again, you're saying, would I persist in new course mia or singular course mia? If that's what you're asking, that's a different question than would I take single course of action in time that's non-repeating A, B, or C. It's a lot easier to get me to do one-time thing than to get me to persistently do the same thing over and over again or to apply a rule consistently. Very unlikely to happen. I mean, it would work differently. Exactly, Oliver Lyman. Exactly. Well, the thing is, it's like, the thing with the racist is trying to insult my clients and me at the same time created this weird thing where they say, like, Eric rips off and then a racial slur. It's like, these people know me way too well. I mean, whoever is trying to slander me in front of my clients is barking up the wrong tree. They know who I am. It's like I have long talks to them all the time about all kinds of shit. Like everybody else in the world, they know my perspectives if they're around me much because I tend to tell people my perspectives, especially if they're like, if I think something's wrong. Like, text to speech for a channel. Yeah, that's pretty easy to get one of those to roll. There's a what's it called? There's a browser plugin for Chrome that does that. Maybe it's an extension. I don't know what they call it. One of those things. They got different names. Like, these are plugins. These are extensions, and these are add-ons. Well, how are they all different? Well, these are like, man, this is blah, blah. Okay, well, whatever. But yeah. It's ridiculous, Bacon. They send me this email telling me that I'm wrong when they haven't even looked into what I have to say at all. I mean, I get the like jump to pedantry from no place inclination, but protect yourself a little bit, don't set yourself up for, well, did you actually see anything at all? Because that's not going to do you any good. Remember that one time I put my hood on and Marty thought I was trying to hide my identity because I was ashamed of what I was saying? That was a bit of a leap. A bit of an intuitive leap. Like the time when the day after I was born, I got my horse to jump over the Grand Canyon. I was very encouraging to the horse. The green screen light kit? Oh, is that what that stuff is? I wasn't sure what those lights were for. I didn't know those were for the green screen. Oh, the guy who emailed me? Oh. Oh, yeah. No, well, he may have known it. It's in my Facebook life events. Hi, Susie. Talking about how April 28th, day after I was born, I jumped over the Grand Canyon on a horse. And that the reason I was able to do that was I gave a very inspiring speech to the horse prior to jumping. So it felt encouraged. It felt like I can do it, you know. And really, with enough confidence and guts and try hardery, you can be the best. If Japanese animation has taught me anything, it's that all it takes is blind faith in your own abilities, despite heaps of evidence to the contrary, to make it to be the very best. All four horse legs did break, but I repaired them on the spot. And unlike most horses, this one didn't have to be put down. It just had a slightly wonky canter from that point forward. Trotted fine, but the canter was a little wonky. I used paper mache for the cast instead of plaster. I think that was the trick. This is my hair. I pull it sometimes. It reminds me that I have a head full of minds. Yeah, there's something about running out of gas. Feeling like an automobile that no longer fueled adequately to move forward. You just like TV shows because they often have one episode story arcs. I'm currently watching Ace of the Diamond, which is an anime show on Crunchyroll. It's got a shit ton of episodes of it. And it does not have one episode story arcs at all. It's like, quite to the contrary, it has, one inning will take a whole episode. And it'll be like, ay, ay, ay. You'll say, I'm running out of gas. I'm running out of gas. Not feeling oh so fast. And not feeling oh so fast. We're running out of energy to go around and run and see what's going on today or yesterday. No, the email guy is totally different. I mean, I don't know who the guy who crashed my coaching party is. They went by the name G. But it's one of my bite monkeys, you know. Bite monkeys. Running out of gas. I'm no longer so fast as once I was. I'm running out of steam. I'm feeling kind of mean like Steve Jobs. I'm running out of fast. Don't know how long I'll last. I certainly won't be around till tomorrow. Before then, I know I'll head to bed and then I'll show my head the way to know away the sorrow. The sorrow, I don't know what to say, but the sorrow won't go away until everybody says, I know what you don't know, and there's a time for me. No, I didn't hear their voice. They just typed things. They, cowardly, of course. Sing the 100 words? Sure. Where is it? I want to see it. I want to know it. I want to see the words of the Carl Jung test. I want to know it. I want to see it. I'm not sure you can link things here anymore. But if you can't, if you will share it with me via Google Docs, then I will be able to access it. Google Docs. It's the googliest of all the docs. Like oogle boogle boogle pox. I'm waiting for that document. Oh, I see. It's one of those kind of documents. Ew. 100 words by Jung. That makes me feel sultry. Like someone put... They didn't even say anything. Oh, yours, that one seems to work. Okay, cool. Where are the 100 words, though? All I see is 55 through 100. I don't see 1 through 55 anywhere. Do you? Should I just do 55 to 100? Maybe it's just some of them. I don't know. Maybe they've been messing around with the chat, so I don't know. Maybe it's not that way right now. I guess I'll just do the 55 through 100 then. Child, to take care, lead pencil, sad, plum, to marry, house, dear, glass, quarrel, and the fur is big. Carrot to pay, bark, old flower, to beat, box, wild, family, to wash, come, friend, and luck. Lie, deportment, narrow, and bother, to fear, stork, and nice woman to abuse. That's what it says. That's what it says. That's how it says. I don't know what happened to the other 54 words. Yeah, sure. I'll talk to him about it. Okay. If you had the other 54 words, that'd be cool. Taurus Shepard says, Eric, why do you use skills-based testing to assess personality? What makes it the preferred methodology here? Well, I'd say we begin with the fact that there's clearly distinct categories of success to certain kinds of questions. Things that intuitively, at least, would seem to be common between everybody, like whether they can remember what they had for breakfast. Instead, we discover there's a whole group of people who just can't seem to do that and always default to the usual instead of the specific. And we go, I wonder why that is. Oh, yeah. And then we say, I think it's because that thing is mutually exclusive of this other thing in these various conditions and contexts and so forth. You know, it's like, why is polar? Well, because you only use it as an object. In other words, you don't know or be yourself with it, and you don't take action in the world with it. It's always happening to you. It's like you have an external locus of control on it, but it's an absolute value. That's why it's your polar. It's both absolute value, so you really do care about it, but it's also something you can only experience as an object. Yeah. I like that. That test is interesting. I wonder what the other 54 words are. I wonder what the other 54 words are on the 100 word test. I only got words 55 through 100, and I wonder what the other 54 words are. Are they dog, or are they cat, or are they pig, or are they fat? I don't know what words they might be, except I could probably deduce that there were periodic infinitives, as there were in the previous list that I said. Yeah. What would I say to appeal to this guy? I mean, I tried again, but instead of singing the word self, the first word pops into my head in response to it. I see. So I'll say the word, then the word that comes up after, okay? Child care, to take care of, lead pencil writing, that's what. Sad, I think of blue and bad, plums, I think delicious madly. To marry is mistaking for me a house for a family, and dear, I'd say, I don't know, maybe glass, I would think, but I sure spectacles or what's that called? A tumbler. So quarrel means to fight, and fur is bad, because Bigfoot has a carrot head hat, and soup paint makes me part with the old folks home. Old folks home. Flower makes me think of blooming stuff. To beat makes me think of a bug. Box makes me wonder what kind of box you mean. Wild makes me think of wilderness time. Family makes me want to shine. The wash makes me think of my Mini Cooper mine. That needs to be washed. And cow makes me think of farm animal. Friend makes me think of Chris Morrow. He's a friend I had when I was a kid. Luck makes me think of dice. Lying is what I think when I see lie. Rather than lie down, I mean deception is what I think when I see lie. Got to rest like a clown. Deportment, I think of department stores mixed with supermarkets and the meat department. Narrow makes me think of bone marrow. Brother makes me think of mother, and fear makes me think that to steer this car to a store to be a fortune. The road a bet that would mislead me. False, it says 86, and 87 says anxiety, which follows naturally from untruth. Just as the kiss of pride is pure and untruth. If you're not that bride's husband anyway. 91 says door, which makes me think of a way to go from one side of a wall to another. And 92 says to choose, and I say, choose what may be. I say, hey, no way, hey is 93. That's why I guess I said me. The thing I chose was that I was contented. Like 94 says, oops, it's bended. Like I don't know what I meant to say in response to that, which is what I'm supposed to do instead of rap. But ridicule me all you want at 95, but to sleep is what I'll do tonight and next month. When I get more Adderall, 98 will be nice to a woman, and all 99. No, I won't do what 100 says, which is to abuse that girl. I just couldn't do it. I couldn't do the the next word that comes to mind thing. I kept wanting to rhyme. It's like it's a habit or something. It's a habit. Matt Lane, father of Quora. You know, I have a stern rule of never combining my do's with my untos. So instead of doing unto others, I just do to others, or I do on others, or around others, between others. I just avoid doing unto entirely. Therefore, I don't have to answer that question. How to do unto others. I mean, in what other context do I do unto things? No other context. Oh, there's a whole 100 of them. Okay. Number 1 says head, which I associate with hat. And 2 is green, which I say is that which green grows in the stream where the water flows, which is number 3. Oh, to sing is dead, long and ship to pay. A window is friendly. To cook, to ask, a cold is stem, to dance, a village and lake. Sickness brings a pride in cooking, to cook an ink and angry needle, to swim a voyage, blue lamp sinning, red ridge tree to prick. Pity, 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 yellow mountain, mountain to die. Salt, 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 new custom to pray. Money, foolish pamphlet, and despise. Finger, that expensive bird. To fall, book on just a frog. To part, hunger white. Child to cake, care, lead pencil, and sat Mary, house and there. Glass and quarrel, fur and big. Carrot to paint that old fig. A wonderful. Carl Jung wrote this wonderful song lyrics long ago. Had green water to sing that long ship to pay, window friendly. Food cook to ask, cold step to dance, village lake sick, pride to cook, ink angry. Needle to swim, voyage blue lamp to send bread, rich tree to brick. Yellow and pity, mountain to die. Salt and new and custom to pray, money, foolish pamphlet despise. Okay, so Carl Jung, I gotta tell you something. I'm doing the best I can here, but these aren't really song lyrics. I know you say you're a song lyricist, but it's more like a list of words. It's a little different than song lyrics. It says it's lecture 1 as well. I don't think you know what either lectures or song lyrics are. This is a list of 100 words. Oh, sure, it's zesty. Zandy's digging those words. Yeah, things are getting really medieval. Okay, well, if I'm going to publish the Carl Jung 100 word test in song form, I'm going to have to record it independently in the following fashion. So here we go. What people often don't know is that Carl Jung originally wrote this list of words as song lyrics. Head green, water to sing, dead, long, ship to pay, window friendly, to cook, to ask, cold stem to dance and village. Lake, sick, pride to cook, ink and gray, needle to swim, voyage, blue, lamp to send, to send, to send, to send. Bread rich tree to prick pity yellow, mountain to die, salt new custom to pray, money foolish pamphlet despise, finger expensive bird, finger that expensive bird, to fall. Book unjust frogs to port hunger white, child take care, lead pencil sad, plum to merry house dear, glass to quarrel, fur big carrot to paint part old, flower to beat box wild, family to wash cow, friend luck lie to portment, narrow brother to fear, the stork. False anxiety to kiss bride, pure door to choose, hey contented ridicule, to sleep month, nice woman to abuse. That's my cover of Carl Jung's original song entitled Lecture 1. I hope you enjoyed it. There. Okay. Maybe I will. Maybe I'll put that up. Maybe that's a good idea. Thanks, Vincent's mom. And when you finger that expensive bird, you really lived. That's when you know you finally achieved something in life. Oh my God, I fingered the most expensive bird today. It was unbelievable. Thank you, Winston's mom, for saying my voice is beautiful. I appreciate that. It's beautiful like an old weathered barn. It's got, it's shabby chic. All right, I'm gonna call it a night. I'm going out raving with Falco later. We're gonna do a bunch of blow and avoid Dear Commissar. No, I'm not really going out with Falco. He's dead. All right, bye everybody. I love you all.